NDC saying Peter Obi most popular opposition candidate.
It's not really sometimes who is more known, who is more prominent, who is more known for what. I think that's a better conversation. Who is more popular for what?
Even other political parties, talk about the ADC now. They'll come out and tell you Atiku is the most popular candidate, and then he's not just popular, he's a politician, and he's won primaries, for so many times. He has the money, he has the charisma, he also has the popularity. He came second, so they also have a good point.
Portable, for example, is popular, and we know he's popular. But the other question would be that when it comes to maybe giving awards, musical awards or whatsoever recognition, would he be the best candidate for that particular award? So that's a question. That's another question you might want to think about. So it's not basically who is popular. My answer is who is popular for what? Who is popular for competence? I think that's a good one. Who is popular for that's won the heart of people by what he's done in the past? I think that's also a very good way to look at it. But to say that your candidate is popular, well, all the best to you guys.
So for the daybreak gist, just like I mentioned earlier, NDC saying Peter Obi most popular opposition candidate, and that did not just happen, because a particular group, G100, went to the NDC, and then they were trying to talk about, facilitating, a common group, or let me say, one opposition political party, like other political parties, who are regarded or were referred to as opposition, can come together and then form one single opposition party to face the APC come 2027. But then NDC is saying we are not interested in that. We are not interested in coming together with all the other political parties against APC in 2027. We believe we can stand alone. We believe we can defeat the incumbent. And then I think some members of the NDC are also making reference to the number of votes that Peter Obi was able to gather in 2023. Yeah, he came third, but then he was able to gather thousands of votes. But then I just want to believe that this is normal. I don't expect anything less from the NDC. Even other political parties, talk about the ADC now. They'll come out and tell you Atiku is the most popular candidate, and then he's not just popular, he's a politician, and he's won primaries for so many times. He has the money, he has the charisma, he also has the popularity. He came second, so they also have a good point, coming from the ADC. And then all the political parties, one faction of the PDP who is supporting the former president, that's Jonathan, will also come out to tell Nigerians, Jonathan, I mean, we don't even need to praise him so much. You all know him, he's been there before, he's done it before, he's your son, this and that, so he's popular, he's the best person for the job. And even all the candidates from all the political parties who are contesting for the presidency. So I don't expect anything less from those people. And even if you speak to APC will tell you, I think they've even said it, times without number, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is their candidate, and then he can do the job. And I think I asked one of my analysts a few days ago, I asked him that question, who is the easiest candidate to say? And then he mentioned his own candidate. So it depends on who is answering the question. It depends on who is talking. It depends on the political party. They will all come out to tell you their candidate is the best. But then, is that the right way to go? Because I want to believe something similar happened in 2022, 2023, when some Nigerians were speaking to the opposition parties. Why can't you all come together and then give us one candidate that we can actually vote for? But then that did not happen. As a matter of fact, it led to several issues in the PDP. Some persons walked out of the party. We had the G5, even though unfortunately it has scattered today. We don't even know if there's any G, in that, discussion anymore. But then away from that, I don't think that will happen this time around before the 2027 elections. I don't see these people coming together. Even within these political parties, they have their own issues. So now imagine, bringing these people together is going to cause more issues. But then, is that the best thing for Nigeria as we speak today? I think that's the conversation this morning.
Fantastic, and I'll start from sometimes politicians and maybe parties as well, they lose track of the real deal, because the real conversation should not be who's more prominent, who's popular, who is not. It's actually who is capable. And I understand this is also one of the antics and the rhetorics of politics in Nigeria, where you try to put out words that you don't want to be out of relevance. So you keep saying things, you keep talking about things, and it's okay for them to say Peter Obi is popular, which is okay. I guess it's really popular. And judging by the past elections, he's been able to garner some strength, some numbers, and I think it's a good one for him. But again, to dwell on that as a basis for your confidence would be like putting your hopes on something that is so brittle and fragile, right? So I think that's not exactly what they should focus on when it comes to, but it's just a way to maybe put out themselves to be as relevant as they would love to become 2027 general elections. But again, because if you would maybe beg the question, so what is it about popularity? For example, in your state, who is the candidate of the APC for governorship? I'm not sure Sharafaddin is as popular as Adelabu. Well, some might disagree, but from what I think, I'm not so sure Sharafaddin is as prominent in terms of popularity as Adelabu. So it's not really sometimes who is more known, who is more prominent, who is more known for what. I think that's a better conversation. Who is more popular for what? Popular for just because people, there are a lot of people. For example, I don't mean to say this, but a lot of people would argue that Portable, for example, is popular, and we know it is popular. But the other question would be that when it comes to maybe giving awards, musical awards or whatsoever recognition, would he be the best candidate for that particular award? So that's a question. That's another question you might want to think about. So it's not basically who is popular. My answer is who is popular for what? Who is popular for competence? I think that's a good one. Who is popular for that's won the heart of people by what he's done in the past? I think that's also a very good way to look at it. But to say that your candidate is popular, well, all the best to you guys. And I really want it to really be, I want this election to be as competitive as we could ever maybe dream of in the country. I want it to be tight. I don't want anybody to just walk over. I don't want anybody to just have a smooth ride over other people just because you wherever you belong. So I really want it to be as competitive, but it's a good one that the NDC is saying. Maybe the ADC should also come out to mention this, and as well, APC has not stopped talking about that. So I think for me, it's not a contest of who is more known. It is the contest of who is more known for what. Can people really trust your candidate? So those are the right conversations to have. And I think we've also talked, I remember last week we were talking about the fact that many times it's the politics in the country. Sometimes I feel politics is always a distraction to governance, and I keep saying this is even a mantra for me, because I've seen in the past years and even in our current administration of the APC, I've seen that it's always the same thing. When we talk about politics, we're always around some kind of conversations. When the world has moved on, I think we are still sleeping on many things, right? There are basic conversations. I remember I understudied the United States election, the last one, and I saw what the Democrats and Republicans were putting on the table, and I was asking the question, like, there are a lot of ideological fight between the two. So some said we are going to be concerned about border closing or border closure. The other said, well, we would do something, but maybe not extreme in that sense. So there are a lot of ideological fight and conflict in that, which I think I like. I like ideological fight. I don't like political fight. Political fight gets us nowhere. Ideological fight would help us to know, okay, so this is your ideology, but this is not what Nigeria should run by. And then, okay, and then you propose, and it's, on, and we have it better, instead of always having a political fight here and there and talking ill of a party, bringing them down, having litigations, going back and forth on politics. The time you should focus on governance, you are all about politics. And politics, I'm so sorry, and from what I've seen, has not really gotten us to where we want to be. So what do we do going forward? I think the conversations should be, for example, like they have brought it out. If they had brought it out this way, to say Peter Obi is popular for delivery, because going to deliver on his deliverables. So that's it. That's what I want to listen to, not just that he's popular. Anybody can be popular. Osama bin Laden was popular. Saddam Hussein was popular. A lot of people were popular, but it's not popular for just popularity. It's popular for something that is strategic, something that can make the nation better. And I think that would be my stance.
Exactly. I think you're very spot on, because beyond your popularity, people want to know what you intend to bring to the table, how you intend to better their lives, and then they are looking for another alternative, at least for so many persons or for some people that would not vote for the current administration. Because at the end of the day, let's not deceive ourselves. The reason why so many persons do not come out to vote, is because they feel, the person really, I'm not interested in voting for that person, and then looking at the other candidates, I'm still not interested. So I really will not come out to vote. And I think think is not good for us. It's not good for democracy, because at the end of the day, if you sit at home because you do not like the people that have been pushed out, about the political parties, and then I mean, you're not. How do you even intend to complain after the election, maybe 2 years into the administration or 3 years into the administration? So beyond the popularity, I think we need more from the candidate, actually. And then if you look at the other candidate, Atiku is also very popular. And then I think the last election even made Peter Obi more popular because of the political party, especially the youth wing of the country. They came out en masse to vote and then to campaign for him. And I still think some youth even still voted for other candidates. They were youth who voted for Atiku. They came out in their numbers, they supported him. They had this popular name, I really cannot remember right now. So when it comes to popularity, we need more than popularity. What do you intend to do for the people? And then it's left for the people to choose. At least with the last election in Osun State, we can tell that the people have been encouraged a little bit to say that whether you come out or not, you already know who's going to win. No, don't do that. Come out to vote. And then I think the political parties, they need to do more as well. If they don't get it right this time around, I think same thing that happened in 2023 might still happen. Because at the end of the day, the voters will have to split their votes. So once the election is concluded, it might be difficult for one person to say, okay, I want to give all my votes to this person. They will now start going to court, from one court case to another, just like we saw in 2023. And then they will waste, resources, they will waste money, this and that, paid lawyers for briefing and all of those things. So I don't see these political parties coming together, and it's not just because of maybe they don't want to partner with anybody. It's because they even have issues themselves. They have internal problems themselves. So bringing other people to join them, I think, is going to cause some more issues for them. So at the end of the day, they might not be able to come together, to actually win this election. And I don't see them coming together in the first place. But then it's going to make a lot of sense if these people actually decide to come together. Let's even see if that can do anything, if that can change anything, for the people. But then what about people who think, okay, because I've seen certain tweets online, especially on X, I see, for instance, now when Peter Obi moved to the ADC at first, some person said, oh, I'm done supporting Peter Obi. Why did he move to the ADC? How come he's supporting these same people that he once criticized and things like that? I think Shore was part of those people that came out to say, I will never. You see, the reason why I don't support these people, I criticize them. Atiku is not a saint. Peter Obi is not a saint. Honestly, ultimately, to Shore, I don't think anyone is a saint to him in terms of all those popular politicians, and that's okay. That's his opinion. So I'm just trying to go back to the opinion of people to say that even when these people come together, there are people who will not vote for the opposition because they believe that these people coming together is going to affect them, it's going to affect my candidates. There are people who are core supporters of Peter Obi. So if Peter Obi should decide to come together with any other person, they might not even support him. There are people who are core supporters of Atiku. So if Atiku should decide to actually come together with whether Peter Obi or maybe Jonathan, they might decide not to vote for Atiku. So it's a problem in this country because people are loyal to one person. So they might not be loyal to a coalition. And that's another problem. So how sure are we that when these people even come together, they are going to pull a reasonable number of votes? So it depends on the electorate to actually decide. But then at the end of the day, I think the opposition should do better because as it stands now, so many Nigerians do not even believe in what the opposition is doing. I mean, from this political party to the other, from ADC, to NDC to PDP is not even, I don't even know what is going on in that party because we have about 3 factions now, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2 popular factions, but I was told that there's another faction of the PDP, and I'm wondering what are they doing in that party. At the end of the day, let's leave all of this behind us and then do what's best for Nigeria. Your popularity, interesting, you have the resources to contest, and I think for Atiku, said this is my last time of contesting. If I win, if I don't win, I'm not coming back. But a lot of persons do not believe him. They think maybe if Atiku does not win this election, maybe 2031, Baba will come back to say, okay, I'm sorry I made that statement. Because, I mean, it's hard to trust politicians in this country when they tell you something. Peter Obi, there was a time he said, I will never leave ABGA. He left ABGA. He left Labour Party. Even though I think most of his supporters said the moment he left Labour Party, they are not willing to support him anymore because they think he's not consistent. If there were issues in the Labour Party, they felt he was supposed to stay back and then solve the issues rather than move to another political party. So that's another problem on its own. But then he's in NDC now. Good luck to him. Atiku is also willing to contest, and there's Jonathan, and then all other candidates who might not be as popular as this one. So good luck to them. But I just feel they should do what's best for Nigerians, for the electorate, really.